If you want an activity that's going to enhance vocabulary and just make things easier in the classroom, this is one for you. Hi everybody, welcome back to Talk and Chalk. This is my educational YouTube channel and I'm going to keep it quick and simple today because this weekend is Mother's Day and I want to chill. Plus, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So today what I'm going to do is share with you just a really quick and simple activity that I guess in a lot of ways works really well with synonyms. It helps with vocabulary, and the best part is it's visual and hands-on and will leave you with a resource for your classroom after it's done. I'm talking about word clines. Clines themselves can encapsulate a variety of different things, so I'm focusing specifically on word clines. And when we're talking about cline, think of the word incline. So picture a line, or picture that graph. We have our X and Y axis, and then we have our graph line that usually goes up and down. So we're looking at something that steadily goes upwards, and you can draw it whichever way you want to do it, and you can have any focus you want to, and I'm going to show you some examples. The reason I'm doing this is because a wonderful educator and friend of mine has been sharing some of the work that he's been doing with his classroom on Twitter. And what I might do is actually pull up his account so that you can see what it looks like. His name is Daniel Yong, and I love the way that he shares the work that he does on Twitter for everyone to see, because it's literally there so you can see it in the classroom, in practice, you know exactly what's going on. So here's Daniel's account. He is at Mr. Daniel Yong, no spaces, and he shares some wonderful things that he's doing. So I'm literally going to scroll down to the most recent post that he shared, which had word clines. So he was looking at words that mean sad and words that mean happy. So I'm trying to avoid my, I have a microphone sitting here and I'm going to pull it close to me and hope it doesn't affect what I'm showing you. So you can see at the top here, this is sad. And we've got these words here that go up the cline, and we're looking at the modality of the word. So then at the bottom, we've got happy here, and you can see where the kids have suggested something and then crossed it out and moved it down. So that one here for happy, they had content/satisfied, and then they realized that should probably sit lower on the cline than these other words here like delighted, joyful, ecstatic. And then on the sad cline, which is at the top here, you can see they've crossed out the word gloomy, and they've got their unhappy is at the bottom, and then they've moved from desolate, melancholy, dejected, sorrowful, and then heartbroken. So we've gone from that basic sad means unhappy, and then they've gone, that modality of the word has grown as it's gone up. Like I said, great for synonyms. All these things still mean sad. So I've got some examples here I'm going to show you that I saved. Now, these were things that I just went to Google for, and the reason I went to Google for this is because it's just the only reason you want to look at other people's versions of this is not to copy and print and stick in your classroom as a resource. This works best when kids do it themselves. So this is my favorite one to start with, and it's usually the cold to hot. So you can see at the bottom there, it says freezing. That's what we're starting at. The coldest word that you can think of is freezing. Then cold, we've got chilly, cool, mild, warm, hot, boiling, and sweltering. The hottest you can get is sweltering. Such a good word to use. And if you've got kids that struggle to move away from those, mainstream words that we always use, this is a good example for them to see and create together. And these are good activities for kids to do in pairs. So once you've done, or even in groups, I suppose, once you've done this a couple of times as a whole class activity, this is then an activity you can set in your reading groups. If you're running the free roaming strategy and you're using must-dos and can-dos, this is a good activity for kids to go at. Even if you've got a bunch of words printed out already for them, they can scale it using that modality and have those conversations around why is sweltering hotter than boiling, and have those arguments and debates about it and give feedback to each other about the language and what it means, because then they can describe it to each other. Think of those examples where they felt boiling or they felt sweltering, and then put that down for them. And if you can do activities like if you're using, I'm going to lose the word for it now, not dojo, the other one. I want to say switch. Oh my gosh, I've had a complete mind blank now. whatever it is. You take a photo and share it, and then the kids can compare and contrast what order they put these things in, or if you've got multiples of them, they can glue them down and then compare and contrast at the end as well. So another example I've got here is where someone's using it in sentences. So down the bottom, there's a little sad face, and I want to make sure you guys can see this. There we go. And it goes up to the happy face. And you can see that first sentence down the bottom says, I hate apples. And then the next sentence up says, I don't really like apples. The next one up says, I don't mind apples. I don't quite like apples. Then we're starting to move up that happy face now. I really like apples. I love apples. I adore apples. Modality. This is really good. These are the kinds of things that work well with persuasive writing as well when you're trying to convince that audience, oh yeah, apples are okay. No, I adore apples. They're amazing. Another example here was looking, and this comes into our mathematical language, from impossible to certain. And this is a good one to do with your activities. And this one's putting it into sentences as well. So down the bottom there, I'm reading this backwards because the camera flips when I do this. So down the bottom it says it wasn't the postman. Moving up it says it won't have been the postman. It can't have been the postman. Then we're looking down that middle section now. It could have been the postman. It might have been the postman. It may have been the postman. So that's the language we're looking at there. Could, might, may. And then that certain area at the top here says it must have been the postman. It will have been the postman. It was the postman. Absolutely certain. It was. Word clines for said. So this is a student example, this one here, and it's a little bit small. And what it's talking about is soft and loud. Now there's different ways that we can do said. So this one's talking about the level that someone spoke. So at the bottom we've got whispered, moaned, squeaked, mumbled, cried, and then it's moving up into that medial section there. We've got called, reprimanded, argued, and now we're getting into loud, yelled, screamed, exclaimed. Those are the things that are at the top. These are great if kids make them because they recall it, they remember the experience of making it, they remember their connection to it when they decided where that word sits. Laminate it, have it in the room as a desk chart for that kid. Just trying to swipe now. So there was another one for other words for said, another student example, and this is talking about sad and happy. So just in case you can't see that because it's small, looking down at sad, we've got whined, cried, scoffed, and then moving up to that sort of other end, argued, yelled, exclaimed, cheered. So we're getting into that happy modality there. So those are just some examples. This can be something that's really, really simple that you just do on the board with your class at the beginning of some kind of lesson where this is part of what your focus is. This also ties in really well with any language activities that you're doing in the classroom, not even in English. This could work with maths, this could work with science, this works across the KLAs depending on what your focus is. Don't even need any major resources, paper, pencils, whiteboard marker, that's it. Go outside, draw it on the concrete with chalk if you want to. Very, very simple. So I hope you enjoy that. If you're unsure still of what I mean, and if you want some more examples, just hit Google and type in word Cline. That's all you need. To those of you that have been following my social media feeds, you'll see I'm very excited because at school we have some friendly woolly animals. We've got some alpacas at the moment. So if you want to see that journey, follow me on social media. I'm at BeckWest81 for Twitter, Talkin Chalk for Facebook and for Instagram. And I'm going to leave it there because I want to get back to enjoying the weekend for Mother's Day with my family. So I will leave my subscription button at the below there. If you haven't clicked to subscribe, hover over that, click to subscribe. There's a little notification bell down at the bottom. So if you want to get notified that I do my video upload once a week, that's it. No selling, no spamming. Just click on that and I'll put another video at the top there for you guys to enjoy. Have a great week. Bye.